morning. Welcome back to Mike's Diabetes Room. Let's get this out of the photo. There we go. Okay. So today's blood sugar, let's start off, is actually 6.5, which is actually pretty good. Again, pretty stable evening or night. I've had a few corrections during the night, but nothing quite substantial. Had a bit of a serious low yesterday. Current blood sugar is 9.7. Time in range is 97%. This 3% was ended up kind of being a serious low yesterday. Average sugar is 7.3. Now, my low yesterday, I reported it early, and nothing really seemed to be happening. And they dropped down to 2.8, where I had to get glucagon. So, it was one of those days. But we're still here. That's the important thing. Today, I want to discuss complications. What happens? Why do some people get them and other people don't? There are people that can go for a while with high blood sugars and nothing happens, and then others. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. This channel is provided for informational purposes only. Contact your physician for any diagnostic or treatment plan. Okay, complications. Oh, God. Sorry, just have an eyelash or something in the eye. Are intertwined, shall we say. For example, I got complications in the eyes. They were sort of my first big complication. And next sort of came high blood pressure. Well, I probably had high blood pressure. And then the eyes, but I never really got tested. Didn't really think it was an issue. Eyes, and it also affected my kidney. When people ask about my complications, I forget about the kidney because I just keep going. My other kidney, my kidney function is decreased. I still have some. For some of you who don't know, I had to have one of my kidneys removed years ago. I think it was the 2004 Olympics, and it's different, but you have to keep yourself in line to stamp out all complications. Let's wake up, Mike. So complications, why did I get them? Why? I think everyone who's a type 1 diabetic is predisposed to complications. The eyes are tied in with blood pressure, your blood, and so kidneys and eyes are often related together. Heart, blood pressure, they're all tied in. Number of complications has dropped in a number of years, which is awesome. Kudos for all you people that have been in control. On this channel, we've concentrated more on people who aren't in control and what not being in control can do. But we forget to celebrate those who are doing the best control they can, and you should be commended. There are people who do that every single day and have done it for many years. Where do I rate myself in the control spectrum? Where 0 being I'm not taking any precautions whatsoever, which for a type 1 diabetic is really hard to do, to where I'm doing everything perfect. My life now, I'd say probably 90. In my 20s, it was probably around 40 to 50. Did I open myself up for complications? I think some of them. I also think I haven't found anything online able to research this, but I personally think that genetics plays a role. And when I say that, I mean in which sort of complication you get. I mean, we're all like to think that we're at 100% prime meat specimens. We're not. Years and years of evolution have played tolls on different aspects in the family. We've seen that where eyes have been an issue in the total family, and they all say, oh, you have weak eyes. I think higher blood sugars add to that area to see that that's probably where complications. So, how do you stop from complications occurring more? One is you eat right. And yes, I've said on this channel a number of times that you can eat what you want. If you want a piece of chocolate cake, you can have it. Count the carbs and bring it down. I've also said, don't have it every single day. That's not going to work for you. Complications allow for you to wake up sometimes. I think my eyes started to be something of a wake-up call. I started to make little inroads. I kind of equate that to when a alcoholic starts knowing that it's time to do something. You know, it's time to start maybe attending AA meetings, or, you know, it was sort of like, oh, okay. And I started to do blood tests more and seeing where my blood sugar was. And 2 to 3 years later, I was doing my blood sugars 4 times a day. Pretty much. You know, you miss one here and there. And trying to control. I think mistakes I made was I got diagnosed and I pretty well got out of the hospital, and I was 13, and it was pretty well said, okay, you run with it. I wasn't ready. Thinking back now, and I know hindsight's 2020, but I was not ready to take my control. But life changed. My mother and stepfather went to the South Pacific for a couple of years, and I just got lackadaisical after an issue with a doctor, and I'm not blaming him. It was my response, but I didn't want to go to a doctor. You know, my dad, whole conversation was, so how's the diabetes going? Oh, it's going good. Because you were pretty well told to take your insulin and do everything. I think maybe if we had a little bit more supervision, but back then it was urine tests for a lot of it, and then blood testing came out, and different philosophies. Till the end with my mother, she always believed, well, that's not the way you were trained. No, but things change. So, it's amazing how control can play a role in our lives. Every person who parents control their blood sugar will have a bit of rebellion. Mine just lasted years, and it probably caused me a bit of harm. But I've done years of tight control, and my complications have sort of been there. So, where do we go? We keep getting up. We keep taking care of our blood sugars. We are aware of what could happen and how I respond to certain things. How I respond. If I'm dropping low, I try to get things under control. If I go high, I want to make sure that the pump is giving me correction values. So, complications doesn't sort of like go, okay, you. But they can be grouped together. We want to narrow the field in which complications affect our body. Eating right, getting some exercise, keeping your blood sugars in control, taking medications as prescribed. That's probably the biggest. And don't just take a wad of insulin so that you can eat whatever you want. Though I don't know anyone who's done that. But on the other hand, if you have children who are type 1 diabetic, if they are pretty good in monitoring their blood sugar, knowing what's going on, if they have a candy or a chocolate at Christmas and didn't give extra insulin for it, I'm just using it as a basic example. Don't freak out. Discuss. I probably myself would have enjoyed that more than what I had. Keeping yourself alert about where your blood sugar is. For years, it was always, well, what's your blood pressure? Are you taking your blood pressure pills? And a lot of times, people didn't respond to that. Oh, I don't need to take it. My blood pressure is fine. And then something happens and it's kind of, well, why didn't I? That's the sort of thing I lived through, and I'm now looking back on my life and regretting it and saying, I could have probably put off a lot of these complications. You've got to remember, I'm getting close to having type 1 diabetes for 50 years. Well, I'm at 47. Okay, I'm not at 50 yet, all right? And blood sugars all over the map, paid a price. And I'm now gonna do my best to stop. And how we're doing that is by having more 97% days of time and range. If you're unable to achieve this, doing the best you can is simply the answer. Don't let complications win. Take care of yourself. It's amazing how much better you'll feel for the long haul, in the short haul. Take care of your diabetes. With that, have a great day, and we'll talk later. Bye now. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.